So now we're at the point in our project where the students have completed their case study, and we're going to do a little stand-up report, and one of our student teams has volunteered to actually be taped in giving their stand-up report to the class.
G is an 82-year-old male you see at home to manage his advanced lung cancer. He takes morphine sulfate ER 30 mg 3 times a day and uses morphine sulfate 15 mg every 1 to 2 hours for breakthrough pain. He's already taking DOS 200 milligrams twice a day and Senna 2 tabs 3 times a day. His last bowel movement was 5 days ago. He reports a decreased appetite and a feeling of fullness in his lower bowel. His bowel tones are normal in all 4 quadrants, and the rectal vault is empty. You can feel a rather large mass formed stool in the colon just beyond reach of your finger. The patient requests some help to get started with his bowel movements. Please intervene. And we figured since the vault is empty, you said you start from the mouth. So he's already getting DOS and Senna, so we figured the next thing would be maybe some Miralax, right? Mm-hmm. And if that didn't work, move down the chain, Vocamag, and then if that still doesn't work, then pull out the big guns and do the sorbitol or lactulose.
Okay. And I encourage fluids.
Yeah, because it's not an emergency because he's got normal bowel tones and all that good stuff. So I mean, it's not like there's no obstruction right now. So. And then encourage him to fluids and regular fiber. Go over what he should be eating. Okay. That kind of thing.
All right.
And that's about it.
Well, I'm just going to survey the class really quickly here now that we've wrapped up our case studies and make sure that we don't have any muddy points left. Anything that's confusing for you at all? As we survey the class, are we all solid here? Okay, well I think now that we're clear that we don't have any muddy points at this, do you feel like you've learned a little something so far?
Oh, yes.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do the last piece of our in-class lesson now, and that is going to be, we're going to review our enema administration module on the ATI homepage. We're going to watch a video on enemas and then clarify for any muddy points around enema administration, because I know there were some fears voiced about that early on. And so we'll clarify on that, and then we'll go ahead and we'll take our constipation post-quiz, and that will wrap up the theory component of our lesson on managing constipation in the elderly. So let's go ahead and boot up to the ATI and watch our enema module. And here's where we boot up to the ATI homepage and go to the enema module skills. Let's just go here to My E-Learning on ATI. This is a program that the students use ongoing. And then we'll go down here to our nursing skills modules and do a little screenshot of that. And now we're going to go right down here to our enema module. And we're going to open that up. Here's enema. Would it be easier to leave them in the Sims position after administering the enema to help them hold the enema? Is that your question? That's your muddy point? Okay, actually they're not quite as tightly constricted. They're not going to hold it quite as well. If the patient can tolerate it, absolutely. But if they're not tolerating things well, it could be okay that you could turn them over on their back and they may be able to retain that fluid a little bit better than it being in the Sims position, just because you want them to tighten their sphincter about as best they can.
It just seemed like to me that changing of position might let it all come out.
And it might, you're right. So it's back to an individualized thing. Yeah, you got to assess your patient and what they can tolerate and what they can do. Yeah, and that's an excellent point. Thank you, Sarah, for sharing that. I appreciate that.
I saw that happen at the hospital one time. Why would you use molasses?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Emily's asking why would you use molasses?
Like baby's Caro syrup.
Yeah.
Where they tell you to do that when you're pregnant and you want to get induced?
Like if your baby's constipated, they say put Caro syrup in the bottle, kind of the same.
Okay.
Is Caro syrup like corn syrup?
What would be the rationale for that?
It's like the syrup, the one sugary
Sorbitol.
that. Lactose.
Exactly. Yeah, it's sugar. Okay.
It's not lactose.
So, baby drinks corn syrup. Give the patient molasses enema. It's the sugar. It's the sugar that you're putting in there, and it's osmosis. Thank you for bringing that up, Emily. That's a good point. We used to give molasses enemas quite a bit.
I got 100%. Yeah.
Good. Do you think you learned something? This is our students taking their post-quiz after our lesson. Getting 100% on their post-quiz. They learned something. Yay, you got 100. Okay.